a bit ashen, and the people who were doing Mind the Gap work, the community of people who were coming together, finding community was super important. What were you doing around that time? I'm just wondering if this was the book you were reading, you know, around that era.
Yeah, I mean, I think complicated, isn't it? It was so complicated. And I was really struggling with my reaction to it all. And when I read Miriam's book, it gave me a foothold. It gave me a way to navigate and investigate my feelings about it with nuance and wit, and gave me an idea that there could be a community conversation that didn't have to be so, you know what I'm saying? Here, what I'm saying? Cut. Yes. Not that I don't believe justice needs to be served, and it does, and it has. Then there are the other situations where it's not about justice, it's about complicity, isn't it? And so I think that Ashen was about what's my role, what's my position in this larger conversation. So I feel that that's what Miriam offered, and that's what Sarah has taken, and she always understood. And when you read her book, you'll understand that she's trying to make a very specific, personal, and universal, and you know, offering a conversation about that.
Miriam is.
And then the next year, when they were not invited back to celebrate that film, but the two people that made the mistake were invited to come back and redeem themselves, like, okay, this is really messed up. So there was something about it for me that was like, who's Dee Dee Gardner? She's making these movies. She's responsible for something that's happening in filmmaking. I want to meet her and I want to work with her. So I sent her the book. Our first meeting, she had diagrams. She had outlines. She is a smart woman, and she knows how to develop films. And so one of the people she always wanted to work with was Sarah. So she brought her up a name. And we also really believed that it needed to be somebody that was going to take it from soup to nuts. You know, it wasn't going to be somebody who that we kind of farmed out a script to other people and that we're going to develop. It was going to be somebody who had, and Sarah had already read the book. Miriam Taze is from Ontario. They know each other's work. Sarah had read the they expect. I know you're here to see a film, and I don't want to pontificate, but I do want to read something that's I found very inspiring from Sarah Pauli's book. Okay, I'm reading it because it's a great book. It's a book of essays about trauma. I want to read from it because Sarah's investigating in these essays her trauma and her analysis of its effect on her as an adult. And the one that I want to read from is called Mad. I treated my junior kindergarten class at North Toronto Christian School to a raucous rendition of Sit on My Face by Monty Python. It was show and tell, after all. So I sang them my favorite song, which included the lines, I love to hear you oralize, when I'm between your thighs, you blow me away. I would later hear my parents gleefully recount. Over and over, we would listen to it as a family. Over and over, we watched The Meaning of Life, Life of Brian, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. By the time I was 4, I could recite most Monty Python sketches and scenes by heart. In 1987, when I was 8 and already a frequently working child actor, Monty Python member Terry Gilliam came to Toronto to do a screen test with John Neville for the title role in his new fantasy comedy film, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. He was also auditioning girls all over the world for the part of Sally Salt, the Baron's trusty sidekick.
The collective blood pressure in our house almost exploded over my getting the chance to meet Terry, let alone a chance to work with him. My dad worked with me for long hours on the English accent the part required, and though my parents had been wondrously hands-off with guiding my performances so far, I look forward to discussing this with you afterwards. That's why I made movements.